Before we begin, I just want to say that this video discusses a real criminal case involving allegations of murder for hire and deception. My intention is never to glorify crime or cause harm, but to share this story with care, respect, and awareness. Out of respect for everyone involved, some details may be limited, and I encourage viewers to remember that real people and families were affected by these events. If this case feels like it may be too much for you, please feel free to click away and take care of yourself first. For those of you still here, thank you for being here. And with that said, let's begin. Imagine being told your husband had just been murdered. Police officers standing in front of you, cameras recording, and your entire world supposedly falling apart. But what investigators already knew would shock everyone watching, because behind the tears, police believed there was a deadly secret, a murder for hire plot, an undercover operation, and a case that would quickly go viral around the world. This is the story of Dalia Dippolito. Dalia Dippolito was born on the 18th of October, 1982, making her a Libra, and she was born in New York, United States, to Randa Mohammed and an Egyptian father. Dalia has two siblings, a brother named Amir and a sister named Samira. Dalia comes from a close-knit religious family. Her father was Egyptian and her mother has Peruvian ancestry. Dalia was 13 years old when she moved to Boynton Beach with her family. This is where Dalia grew into an adult. Very little is publicly known about her early childhood and upbringing. Dalia was often described as outgoing, confident, and social. Before the case that would later make international headlines, she lived what appeared to be a fairly ordinary life, working various jobs and building relationships in Florida. To those around her, there was little to suggest that her name would one day become connected to one of the most infamous murder for hire cases in recent years. And as she entered adulthood, her life would eventually become tied to a relationship that would change everything. Dalia Dippolito met Michael Dippolito in Florida during the early 2000s. At the time, Michael was older than Dalia and had a complicated past, including previous legal troubles and time spent in prison before their relationship began. Despite this, the two quickly became romantically involved, and their relationship moved forward fairly quickly. Michael was known for living a flashy lifestyle, while Dalia was often described as outgoing, confident, and sociable. As their relationship developed, the couple eventually married in 2009 and began building a life together in Boynton Beach, Florida. To the outside world, they appeared to be starting a new chapter together, but behind closed doors, the relationship was far from stable. Over time, reports suggested the marriage became increasingly complicated, with tension, arguments, trust issues, and financial problems creating strain between them. Investigators would later claim that the relationship had become deeply unhappy long before the events that made international headlines. And while the marriage continued to fall apart, something far more serious was allegedly being planned in secret. As time went on, problems inside the marriage between Dalia Dippolito and Michael Dippolito reportedly became more serious. According to investigators and later court proceedings, the relationship was filled with arguments, tension, and ongoing instability. Financial problems also appeared to place pressure on the marriage, with reports suggesting the couple struggled with money and trust issues. Friends and people close to the situation later claimed that the relationship had become deeply unhappy behind closed doors, despite appearances from the outside. And as the marriage continued to deteriorate, investigators would later allege that Dalia began discussing something shocking. According to police, she wanted her husband dead. According to investigators, the situation escalated when Dalia Dippolito allegedly began speaking to someone about wanting her husband killed. Police later claimed that Dalia believed she was arranging a murder for hire plot through a hitman. But what she allegedly didn't know was that the person she was speaking to was connected to law enforcement. Investigators secretly began recording conversations and gathering evidence as part of an undercover operation. According to police, discussions about payment, timing, and the planned killing were all captured during the investigation. And as the operation continued, detectives decided to take things one step further. They would stage an entire fake murder scene to see how Dalia would react. As the undercover investigation continued, police decided to carry out a dramatic sting operation designed to make Dalia Dippolito believe that her husband had been killed. Investigators worked with Michael Dippolito to stage a fake murder scene as part of the operation. Police then brought Dalia to the home, where officers informed her that Michael was dead. What happened next would later become one of the most talked about moments in the entire case. The interaction was secretly recorded by police cameras, capturing Dalia's reaction as officers told her the shocking news. The footage quickly gained worldwide attention and became central to the investigation and future trial. After being told that Michael Dippolito had been killed, Dalia Dippolito was taken in for questioning by police. During the interrogation, investigators confronted her with information gathered during the undercover operation. As questioning continued, detectives believed they had enough evidence to move forward with the case. Meanwhile, Dalia maintained her innocence, denying the allegations against her. But the secretly recorded footage, undercover conversations, and police sting operation quickly became the center of national attention. The case soon spread across television, news reports, and online discussions, with many people divided over what they believed had really happened. The case against Dalia Dippolito quickly became one of the most talked about trials in the United States. Prosecutors argued that the undercover recordings, police sting operation, and secretly captured footage clearly showed that Dalia had attempted to arrange the murder of her husband, Michael Dippolito. Meanwhile, Dalia continued to deny the allegations, and her defense argued that parts of the case had been manipulated and exaggerated by law enforcement. Over the years, the case became increasingly complicated, involving multiple trials, appeals, and legal disputes. The footage released by police continued to spread online and across television, turning the case into a worldwide media story. And while public opinion remained heavily divided, the courtroom battle continued for years, and in 2007, they finally reached a verdict. Dalia Dippolito was sentenced to 16 years in prison after being convicted in a murder-for-hire plot against her husband. As of 2026, Dalia Dippolito remains in prison after being sentenced to 16 years for solicitation to commit first-degree murder in the plot against her husband, Michael Dippolito. Even years later, the case remains one of the most talked-about murder-for-hire investigations in recent history. This is a case that shocked people around the world, not only because of the allegations themselves, but because so much of the investigation was captured on camera. The undercover recordings, the police sting operation, and the interrogation footage turned this case into one of the most widely discussed murder-for-hire stories in recent years. And even today, people still debate the events that unfolded behind closed doors. Thank you for watching Into the Night Stories. And as always, stay safe out there.